225 men stared up at a 100-foot cliff. Germans threw grenades down at them. Machine guns fired from both sides. They had 30 minutes to climb or die. Only 90 would still be standing by day's end. But here's the thing, they were climbing for guns that weren't even there. June 6, 1944, 7:08 a.m. At the top of that cliff sat 6 massive German artillery guns. Big enough to destroy the entire D-Day invasion. Powerful enough to slaughter thousands on the beaches below. The Rangers were the only ones who could stop them. Sergeant Leonard Lommel checked his gear. Rope. Grappling hook. Tommy gun. He was 24 years old. Colonel Rudder told them the truth, we're not expected to make it. They're calling this a suicide mission. But if we don't do this, thousands die on those beaches. The landing craft hit the rocky beach 38 minutes late. Then hell opened up. Germans opened fire. Machine guns from both flanks. Grenades from above. They fired rope rockets toward the top. Half the ropes were soaked with seawater, too heavy. They fell short. Germans cut the others. Rangers fell 30 feet into the rocks. But some ropes held. Sergeant Bill Petty grabbed one and started climbing. Hand over hand. A grenade exploded above him. Shrapnel tore into his shoulder. He kept climbing. 20 feet up. 40 feet up. His hands were bleeding. The rope slick with mud and blood. A German soldier appeared at the top with a rifle. Petty let go with one hand, grabbed his pistol, fired 3 shots. The German fell past him, tumbling to the rocks. 60 feet. 80 feet. Petty pulled himself over the edge. Alive. More Rangers topped the cliff. 5, 10, 20. They rushed the first bunker. Empty. The gun was gone. Just telephone poles propped up to look like artillery from the air. Second bunker. Empty. Third bunker. Empty. All 6 positions were decoys. Sergeant Lommel stared at the empty bunker. They'd climbed a cliff under fire. Lost half their force. All for guns that didn't exist. But the guns were real. Intelligence had photographed them. So where had the Germans moved them? While most Rangers fought off counterattacks, Lommel took Sergeant Jack Kuhn and moved inland. German patrols were everywhere. 100 yards in, Lommel heard voices. German voices. He crawled forward. Peered through the hedge. There they were. All 6 guns. Sitting in an orchard, camouflaged, pointed toward Utah Beach. German soldiers stood around smoking. The guns were ready to fire, they just hadn't received the order yet. 2 Rangers. 50 Germans. 6 massive artillery pieces. We have to destroy them, Lommel whispered. Now. Lommel crawled through the hedgerow. Kuhn covered him. The Germans were 40 yards away, backs turned. He reached the first gun. Pulled thermite grenades from his belt, designed to melt steel. Shoved 2 into the gun's aiming mechanism. Second gun. 2 more grenades. Third gun. Fourth. His grenades ran out. What they didn't know was that Kuhn had left to get more grenades from dead Rangers on the clifftop. Lommel was alone. In the middle of 50 German soldiers. With 3 guns still intact. He pulled out his rifle butt and smashed the sights off the 5th gun. Then the 6th. The guns could still fire, but they couldn't aim. Useless. German voices got louder. They were coming back. Lommel crawled through the hedgerow, heart hammering. He reached cover just as Germans entered the orchard. Seconds later, the thermite grenades activated. White-hot flame erupted from inside the guns. Germans shouted and ran toward them. Too late. The mechanisms melted. Warped. Destroyed. Utah Beach was safe. Just when they thought the worst was over, the Rangers' fight was just beginning. For 2 days, they held Pointe du Hoc against constant German counterattacks. 225 men had climbed the cliffs. By the end of D-Day, only 90 could still fight. They ran out of ammunition. Started using captured German weapons. Ran out of those too. Fought with grenades. Then knives. Then rocks. German artillery bombarded the clifftop. Shells landed every few minutes. Jack Kuhn was hit by shell fragments. Both legs shattered. He refused evacuation. I can still shoot, he said. He lay in a crater with a rifle until he passed out from blood loss. Lieutenant George Kirchner held off 3 German counterattacks on June 7th. Each time the Germans charged, his men let them get close, then opened fire. Bodies piled up in front of their position. Then something unexpected happened. On June 8th, American forces finally broke through from Omaha Beach. Of the 225 Rangers who climbed those cliffs, 90 were still standing. 77 were dead or dying. They'd climbed a 100-foot cliff under fire. Found nothing. Searched inland. destroyed 6 artillery guns with grenades and courage. Then held that cliff top for 2 days against an entire German battalion. Sergeant Lommel survived, returned home, lived to 90, rarely talked about D-Day. But in 1979 he returned to Normandy, stood at the top of the cliff and looked down at the beach where he'd landed. "We were supposed to die there," he said. "But we didn't. We climbed that cliff because Americans don't quit. And we destroyed those guns because that's what Rangers do." He paused. "But the real heroes are the ones who didn't make it home." If you visit Pointe du Hoc today, you can still see rope marks on the cliff face. Grooves worn into the stone by the ropes the Rangers climbed. 225 men. 100-foot cliff. 30 minutes. They climbed because Rangers lead the way. Comment below with your favorite part of the story, and subscribe for more stories of courage in the face of impossible odds.